shared, and we'll have this program started. So first of all, when we start the program, generally speaking, everyone's idea is that social innovation is some kind of social work or some kind of charity work doing. One of the things that we have been able to, thanks to the able guidance of Dr. K, we have established or proven that just the social work part of it, there is a specific failure that is being addressed. So when it comes to making, talking about market, we are talking about a solution to address that. So what do social enterprises do? What do social innovators do? Market is not able to solution for a particular instance. The product, the audience is too small, too remote. If failure happens, there are no market solutions available for those people. Typically, the policy response from government side has been that it provides subsidy of one kind or the other. So you have someone, a classical case, be a government hospital being run where healthcare facilities are subsidized, so people are able to access it at a subsidized cost. Private enterprise, so earlier it used to be called charity, then it became donation, is in the form of CSR, where private is used to subsidize some of these products and services. Dr. Mashelkar has given us a very inspiring framework, creating value to social enterprise. To do over here to find out path-breaking technology that allow us to address some of these failures. So there are many examples which we through the course of the event that we're going to be having. Let's say one of the problems, one of the enterprises, readability, for people. It's not a need which is very market. Many people want to solve. Through the help of technology, one of our innovators took this problem and created a solution which is solved in most of the largest libraries.
Sorry to interrupt you, Hitendra. Your voice is a little cracking and we are not able to hear it clearly. That's probably a bandwidth from your channel side.
I'll switch off my video in that case, Mandar. Hopefully it will be.
Yeah, there is a cracking sound coming when you're talking. So just let's try without a video. Yeah, please go ahead.
So this, is it better, Mandar, now?
The cracking voice is still there, Hitendra.
Yeah, but you go on, please go.
Yeah, please go on. Yeah.
Okay. So this person, they created a device blind people to read books in any languages, and this the primary machine across major libraries. People have to download that, improve the. So that's a classical example of the kind of innovation inspired by the framework that Dr. Mashelkar has suggested. We have been nurturing on. Several instances, the starting point of which the call for application that we where receive applications from all over the country, and those applications are, thanks to the help of our jury members, they are screened at various places and select the finalists to present over here. Just to give you this year we received 136 application, and a large of it and in between they represent close to about 30 states all over India. These gender-wise, we have close to 25% female entrepreneurs, and the three categories and tribal. So we have 50%, 36% in urban, 52% in rural, and 11% in tribal. So that just gives you a flavor kind of application we have received over here. I would welcome Mashelkar to give his opening address for us. Sir, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Hitendra. Our honorable chief guest, a very dear friend and iconic leader, Mr. R. Mukundan, Dr. Vijay Kedkar, our most revered Vice President, members of our beloved PIC family, distinguished participants, proud innovators who are going to be celebrated today, the honorable jury who helped us, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to this 9th National Conference on Social Innovation. As was explained, this is a major flagship program of Pune International Center. Like just a week ago, we had PDNS, the Pune Dialogue on National Security. I was just looking at the pictures that were being shown, and I could see my giving a very warm handshake to Vikas Amte. And thanks to the new norms, we can't do these warm handshakes or affectionate hugs anymore. I do hope that next year will be different. I'm a bit tired of these so-called new norms. I want to get back to the old norms like all of you. I hope the war of virus versus vaccine will be won by us, but of course it requires help from all of us. We need to observe COVID appropriate behavior. And I hope next year's event, 17 November 2022, will be very different. In 2009, we started this program, and by the way, all new ideas, great ideas, they come from our Vice President, Dr. Vijay Kedkar. So it was his idea that we talk about innovation, we talk about technology innovation, business model innovation, but social innovation for social transformation is so critical, and we don't have it. And there we go. That is where we actually started. And it was initially a platform of like-minded people speaking to like-minded people, the social innovators getting together, talking to each other. But over a period of time, we changed that platform. And actually, now it is a platform to curate and bring to fore social entrepreneurs from all over India, with a total ecosystem actually getting into play. Basic idea, what is the outcome finally want? What is the big purpose? The big purpose is to help improve the quality of life for the poorest and the marginalized sections of the society. And one can look back for the past 8 years with great deal of satisfaction, very proud that we have provided a platform for more than 150 social innovators over the past 8 years. And as Hitendra just now mentioned, the number of applications, number of states covered, I'm very happy that initially we started with just 3-4 states, but now it has spread all over India. Jammu and Kashmir this year, Jammu and Kashmir, Assam, Manipur, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Meghalaya, Nagaland. So it has become an all India encompassing sort of movement. And most importantly, there is a very healthy participation of female applications, as was mentioned, around 25%. But even in that smart percentage, I must say, those female participants are making a big, big, big difference. You remember 2016, all of us were there when Rahibai Soma Popre, we call her Bijmata. She's a tribal farmer because we decided to move into tribals also. And I remember such a fiery speech that she gave. We gave her a standing ovation. And what she was doing was conserving natural varieties, promoting agrobiodiversity. And it's very interesting that the entire nation saluted her this year when the Honorable President of India honored her with Padma Shri. So I want to brag a little on behalf of PIC that we are early spotters of talent, and we have an uncanny eye for spotting sort of great social innovators. I must say that, as I said, initially the social innovators used to talk amongst themselves, but over a period of time, we started looking at the entire social innovation ecosystem. like the corporate social responsibility representatives from major organizations. And I'm very happy today, big companies and big trusts, big foundations like Tata Trust, JSW Foundation, Lupin Foundation, etc., are our great partners. Then, while expanding the innovation ecosystem, we started looking at incubators, accelerators, impact investment funds, etc., etc. So it is now becoming a very strong, enriching, and all-encompassing ecosystem. As I said, it was Dr. Vijay Kelkar's idea to form this national conference on social innovation. But also the next idea came from him in 2017, which was to create a social innovation laboratory and also a social entrepreneurship mentorship program. That was very, very critical, because it's extremely important that you can move with great speed in wrong direction and you'll be sort of nowhere. So mentors are extremely critical. And I'm very happy that our last 5 years experience has been really phenomenal. Currently, as we speak, and you will know about it a little later in more detail, we are mentoring around 14 social entrepreneurs and helping them to move from prototype development stage sort of offers. The other important challenge that we continue to face is that there are great ideas, but finally they must make impact. And that is sort of a big challenge that I see everywhere. We have to do it with speed. We have to do it on a scale. It has to be made sustainable. And our Social Innovation Lab is actually helping in this. It was mentioned a little earlier by Hitendra, because that is a kind of a model that we really need to have. You know, the 2018 winner, Akshita Sachdev and her partners, they again looked at the excluded being visually impaired community. And what was needed was a real-time access for printed, handwritten, and digital material. And they created this Kibo Access, a device that reads printed text across 12 Indian languages, indeed multiple international languages. And that Kibo app, which has been just launched 2 years ago, today 150 million documents have been read. 1 million documents have been read. 18,000 visually impaired people from 15 countries have benefited. You can just imagine now. So when we talk about making India for the world, I think this is a brilliant example, and I'm very happy that we have played some small role in making such things happen. I feel very, very happy, just as all of us do within the PISC family, that it is very satisfying that social innovations of PISC's NCSI have impacted thousands from not just urban areas, not just from rural areas, from tribal areas. And that's a great feeling indeed. I want to congratulate the great team, Abhay, Mandar, Hitendra, all of them, and Prashant, although he's no more with us, the kind of shape he gave, I want to acknowledge them. I think finally, a difference, and hopefully to make a big difference by creating radical yet sustainable social transformation. And that is what we are on as a big purpose, as our grand purpose. And I hope that all of you will enjoy the next 2 days sort of proceedings. One single aim: make one India, to make inclusive.
Thank you, Dr. Mashelkar, sir, for this wonderful opening remarks and insights. And now we move on to Anjali Mashelkar Inclusive Innovation Award. Anjani Mashelkar Inclusive Innovation Award, a prestigious award for inclusive innovators, has been part of NCSI for almost more than 8 years. And now again, I request Dr. Mashelkar sir uh, to uh, uh, talk about Anjani Mashelkar Inclusive Innovation Awards. And I request him to take it on from here. Over to you, sir, again.
I think Sushil is say a couple of words and then I can start.
Yeah, Sushil
No,
is here. Yes.
You have to start and then I only declare the awards.
All right. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, and again a very warm welcome to the Anjani Mashelkar Inclusive Innovation Awards ceremony. Today is a very special event, mark the 11th year of the award. In this journey of more than a decade, I've seen the concept of inclusive innovation grow from being just a fringe idea driven by dangerous optimists like me to a full-fledged movement that promises to change the world. The coronavirus pandemic has forced us to meet virtually, as I said, for the second year in a row. But there is a silver lining. Our friends and supporters from across the world have joined us today. You know, these invitations were spent sort of all around. And I do know the number of people who are joining, like Professor Jeff Maitland from Imperial College UK is with us, and Boris from Ljubljana is with us, and so many others. So I welcome you all of those who are joining us from different time zones. I must say something, you know, it has been a remarkable experience. Yesterday night, I got a mail. Alenka Brauer, the director of Slovenian Innovation Hub, wrote to me, and I'll quote her. She said, since I'm taking my father of 92 years to the eye doctor at 2:40 IST, I hope that I'll be able to catch at least part of the event. I will do my best to connect as soon as possible. And I have a question regarding whether I can provide some very modest contribution to Anjani Mashelkar Foundation. Alenka, I'm very, very deeply touched. If you are listening, that's what makes life worthwhile. So I'm very happy that these awards have sent messages across the world, and there are so many friends who are touched, who are wanting to help, who are wanting to spread the message, and who are now listening. This award is named after my mother, Anjani Mashelkar. She brought me up, as you know, facing all the odds that an extremely poor, widowed, barely literate mother moving to Mumbai with her only child, a 6-year-old boy, that is me, would face. And this, I must say, she did with great courage, with great dignity. My mother left us on this very day, 17 November in 2006, 15 years ago to this day. Although she is no more, sorry. Although she is no more, to me, she is everywhere. In fact, I would say that she is the grand orchestrator of today's event, even though she is no longer with us. Let me explain. When she passed away, we found all the money that I had given to her from time to time over the years tucked away in her cupboard with a note that said, we should never forget our beginnings. Do use this money to celebrate those who use science to do something for the poor. To honor her wishes, I instituted this award in 2011. Over the last 10 years, we have recognized and rewarded innovators who develop solutions for excluded members of the society. And I have been very fortunate to meet innovators from across the length and breadth of the country. And you can see all those heroes that we celebrated on this day for the past few years. And these are young people across the length and breadth of the country who are obsessed with not just doing well, but also doing good. Their touching passion and compassion reinforced my faith in our bright future, not just as Indians, but as also humans. Take, for example, last year's winner, Dozy. If you remember, we created a special award for those who had done something special during COVID, not just normal award. We gave 2 awards last year. Now, Dozy is a continuous contact-free vitals monitor with remote monitoring capabilities that converts any bed into a step-down ICU in less than 2 minutes. It has medical grade accuracy of 98.4%, and it costs just 1/10 of the current alternatives. And you can see its importance at the peak of the pandemic, when people actually were dying in ambulances because there was no ICU bed that was left. And since the outbreak of COVID-19, Dozy has helped thousands of patients in India by providing them with ICU beds in 30 cities, in 268 hospitals. And remote monitoring is very important, COVID or no COVID, because currently a nurse can monitor 100 patients, 10 patients. Now she can sort of monitor 100. So you can see its long-term implications. But I'm very happy to say this was not just a philanthropical act. Doing well and doing good can go together. And in July this year, this startup has raised $6 million, roughly 44 crores, as a part of Series A funding. So testament that you can indeed do well by doing good. Look at all other winners. For example, some of the other winners, like Senthil Murugasen's Jovio, a game-changing maternal healthcare solution that provides 1,000 days care to mother and child for 1,000 rupees, just 1 rupee per day. Or look at the IBS exam of Mir Shah, a handheld, non-invasive device that offers painless breast exams for just $1 per scan. Or look at the amazing biosensing device, Anupat, by Vinay, which gives 8 test results in just 60 seconds, and it is doing very well in the market today. Or look at Rahul Rastogi's Sanket Life, a handheld ECG that brings affordable cardiac care just for 5 rupees per scan for everyone. Or look at dengue's day 1 test by Naveen Khanna. We detect dengue most affordably in record time of 15 minutes, not 1 or 2 days. And which has sold 10 million dengue kits so far all around the world. And many have made a difference beyond the borders of India. For example, Livomavli's Axiostat is stopped bleeding instantly and is now available in dozens of countries. And they have also received the US FDA clearance now, so they will go places. Then another winner you saw in 2019, Gen Robotics, that has sparked social transformation through Bandicoot, a robot that cleans the manholes, because these young people say, manhole is a bad word. Why should a man be in the hole? It should be a machine. And the man should be outside, and they train them to become a sort of robot operator. It's a transformation. And I'm very happy to see, I always say science must solve, technology must transform, and innovation must impact. And this is a brilliant example, because Mr. Abnur Sable, who was a Rajya Sabha MP, was there in the function, and he was a part of this entire committee that central government had on rehabilitation. And he raised this particular issue, showcased this, and so on, and one thing led to the other. And I'm very happy to say that there is a bill that is moving on prohibition of employment as manual scavengers, and their rehabilitation bill completely mechanizing sewer clean. You can quite clearly see the kind of impact one has. Lastly, the jury. They play a very, very important role, because we get hundreds of applications from all around the world, from the MITs of this world, even from Pakistan. So we had sort of awards, the entry, and they have to do the difficult job of selection. I must thank Professor Anil Gupta for the whole last decade. He has chaired the jury, and now there is a sort of a new jury that you can see as a good governance process. We are a new jury. You can see Anu Aga there, Dr. Devi Shetty, Harsh Mariwala, K. Radhakrishnan, former chief of ISRO, chairman of ISRO. You see Kiran Karnik there. You see another Kiran there, Kiran Mazumdar Shah, Nirmal Ganguly, the Director General of ICMR, former kind of a Bhishma Pitama, as you know, in medical research. You see Ronnie Screwwala there. You see Shekhar Mande, the current Director General of CSR, Shraddha Sharma, your story. Then Swati Piramal, and our very own trustee of our foundation, Sushil Bode. So this year, they were the ones who did the difficult task of finding the winner, whom you will shortly see, hear and applaud. So friends, now with these brief words, let's move on with the 2021 program. I request Anjani Mashelkar Foundation Trustee, Mr. Sushil Bode, now to take over.
Thank you, Dr. Mashelkar. On behalf of the foundation, its trustees, previous winners, the enlightened jury, and of course, the entire nation, I would again like to thank you for igniting this inclusive innovation movement. Like you said, like previous years, this year also we have received hundreds of applications, and the winner of the Anjani Mashelkar Inclusive Innovation Award 2021, as selected by our enlightened jury, is Dr. Subhash Narayanan for oral scan. Let me now read out the citation. India has 1/3 of oral cancer cases in the world, and oral cancer accounts for around 30% of all cancers in India. What's worse, out of nearly 90,000 cases of oral cancer detected each year in the country, more than half die the same year due to the late stage detection. Oral scan is an optical imaging multimodal device for the early detection of precancerous lesions in the mouth. This high technology device provides patients access to diagnosis locally and saves them cost and pain of multiple biopsies, while ensuring early detection saves their lives. So far, oral scan has reached 8 states in India and touched the lives of more than 1,000 people. Dr. Subhash Narayanan is the founder and CEO of Sascan Meditech, the startup that has created oral scan. Dr. Narayanan was a scientist and head of the Atmospheric Sciences Division at the National Center for Earth Science Studies in Thiruvananthapuram. A true inclusive innovator, he has dedicated the last 35 years of his life to the application of spectroscopy and imaging techniques on vegetation stress, remote sensing of corals and plants, biomedical instrumentation, and in developing innovative technologies based on biophotonics for early detection of oral and cervical cancers. This award is being given to Dr. Subhash Narayanan in the presence of our chief guest, Mr. R. Mukundan, CEO and Managing Director of Tata Chemicals Limited. I now ask Dr. Narayanan to please give his acceptance speech and congratulations from the Anjani Mashelkar Foundation.
Oral cancer is a major health problem in India and the world over. Incidentally, oral cancer ranks among the top 3 types of cancer in the country. More than 80,000 new cases of oral cancer are detected every year, but the late-stage diagnosis kills the chance of saving most of the patients. Early detection of oral cancer is of great significance as it reduces high mortality rates, cost of treatment, patient trauma, and morbidity. It is to this effect that Sascan Meditech Private Limited, a startup incubated at the TimeMed, SCTIMST, Thiruvananthapuram, has developed a handheld intraoral camera for oral cancer screening, named Oral Scan. The portable multimodal imaging camera helps by mapping changes in oxygenated hemoglobin absorption and fluorescence of the oral cavity.
It has multiple LEDs to illuminate the tissue and has a monochrome camera to capture the images. And we have also real-time processing of the images by which we will be able to get feedback from the cloud on what is the kind of cancer the patient has and what are the kind of procedures to be followed.
Oral Scan screens and detects malignant lesions quantitatively and uses a cloud-based machine learning algorithm for accurate and real-time feedback of tissue status at the point of care.
Oral scan brings the shift there wherein it helps us in analyzing the lesions in a more quantitative way.
Oral Scan is currently being used in various dental and medical colleges and other hospitals for patient care. It is useful for non-invasive and real-time screening of potentially malignant lesions of the oral cavity.
This is the first time that a camera has been integrated into a handheld multispectral imaging device for oral cancer screening and biopsy guidance.
Thank you very much for this recognition. I feel honored and humbled to receive the prestigious Anjani Mashelkar Inclusive Innovation Award for Oral Scan. Oral Scan is a handheld imaging camera developed by SASCAN for early detection of oral cancers and for biopsy guidance. As a child, I became fully aware of the consequences of cancer because when I was a 12-year-old, my mother was wrongly diagnosed with cancer and she had to undergo heavy doses of radiation therapy, which left her bedridden for more than 5 years. Doctors thought she would die. It turns out she never had cancer. But being bedridden for such a long period impacted her mobility such that she could not walk properly and had to resort to crutches during her later stages of life. I wondered if the availability of better diagnostic tools to detect cancer would have prevented my mother from facing such difficulties. It has been more than 50 years since this happened, but the technology has not advanced enough. We still rely on subjective and inaccurate methods for cancer diagnosis. This was my motivation for setting up SASCAN, a technology startup with a mission to develop affordable screening devices for early detection of cancer. Oral Scan is an outcome of this initiative with support from BIRAC under the BIG scheme. It took us nearly 5 years to develop Oral Scan into a marketable product. The hardware and software went through many iterations. After years of hard work and testing, we released the CE mark product into the market on the 28th of October last year. The machine learning algorithm that we developed has the ability to detect potentially malignant lesions from normal with an accuracy of 97%. These results have been validated through a clinical study covering more than 340 patients from 6 hospitals across India. Our technology is patented and the study results are published in a peer-reviewed international journal. It's easy to talk about complex technology or clinical trials, but what is more important is how this tool saves lives. Jagannath Puri is a school teacher aged 60 years from Bhubaneswar. He was addicted to the habit of pan chewing, around 15 to 20 pans a day for the past 35 years. He developed a varicose growth in his mouth on the right side of his lower jaw and inner cheek. He underwent surgery 6 times, but the disease kept on recurring. On screening with the oral scan, Dr. Rajesh Pati, an ENT surgeon at the Sparsh Hospital in Bhubaneswar, could identify a hitherto unnoticed site with malignant symptoms. A fresh biopsy from the site was taken and the pathology results showed as moderately differentiated SCC, to the surprise of the doctor. Soon, the patient underwent an operation and the entire malignant lesion was removed and he got completely cured of the disease. He comes to the hospital for regular checkups and has not so far shown any signs of recurrence. This confirms the ability of oral scan as a biopsy guidance tool. Another case was that of a 45-year-old daily wage worker from Bahrampur village in the southern part of Orissa. He was using gutka and tobacco for several years. He noticed an abnormal growth across his right inner cheek, extending to the lower lip. The doctor had performed a biopsy using conventional white light examination, but the result was negative for any type of malignancy. But when the patient came back with complaints, he was re-examined with oral scan. The device gave a very high red to green reflectance ratio value for the inner lip region, which was unnoticed when the earlier biopsy was done. A fresh biopsy was taken from the site, identified by oral scan, resulted in the patient diagnosed with well-differentiated squamous cell carcinoma. This helped the doctor provide immediate patient care and save his life. These are not isolated cases. Many such instances were reported by other doctors who participated in the study. None of the competing products in the market, like the Wellscope, Identify, and Oral ID, have the capability for biopsy guidance. These devices are subjective and rely primarily on loss of tissue fluorescence to screen and detect cancer. Owing to the fact that tissue inflammation can also cause a loss in fluorescence, the specificity of devices is very low and unwanted biopsies are very common. Owing to the high cost of the devices and their low accuracy, these are not considered as good options in the Indian context for large-scale screening programs. This is the first time that a multi-modal imaging camera has been integrated into a handheld intraoral device for cancer screening. While developing oral scan, we were able to reduce the size and the cost of the camera and the illumination system so as to make the device portable and affordable for mass screening. The software is intuitive and easy to use by health workers and paramedical staff with minimal training. As the screening results are available without any delay, the patients do not have to come back for results and they don't have to spend their valuable time and money on travel. Since Guided biopsy is possible with oral scan. The pain associated with multiple biopsies or unwanted biopsies is avoided, and people feel more comfortable participating in routine screenings. Oral scan is currently being used for mass screening camps in Mumbai, Arunachal Pradesh, Kerala, Kolar, and other places to screen and detect early stage cancers. In Kerala, oral scan has been installed in a bus to provide screening options to those living in remote villages. In Arunachal Pradesh, Murata India is collaborating with government health department to screen and detect early stage cancers. In Mumbai, the India Relief Foundation is conducting regular screening camps for detecting early stage malignancies. So far, we have touched the lives of more than 1,000 people through these screening initiatives in the remote villages with limited access to quality healthcare. The technology developed has the potential to be adapted for screening of epithelial tissues of other organs such as the colon, the cervix, the stomach, and the GI tract. We have already developed an imaging device called CervixScan for cervical cancer screening, and clinical trials are ongoing to validate the device. SASCAN is keen to provide end-to-end solutions for cancer management. As a next step in this direction, we are developing an alternate treatment modality known as photodynamic therapy for management of early stage oral cancers, and the product is under development with support under the Nidhi Priya scheme of TIMET SCTMST. We have a stellar team of scientists, engineers, doctors, and marketing professionals. I want to take this opportunity to thank them for their hard work and passion, without which none of this would be possible. Our team is committed to saving lives through early detection of cancer. Finally, I would like to thank the jury members for considering oral scan worthy of this award. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Dr. Narayanan, our heartiest congratulations, not just on behalf of Anjani Mashelkar Foundation, Pune International Center, but the entire nation. We are very, very proud. You know, I always like to say two things to the young people. First, we should not go for the best practice. We should go for the next practice. Because when you go for the best practice, you're copying somebody. We have to create next practice, and that's what you have done. You showed to us your competitors and what you have done. You're really done wonders. The second part, again, very close to my heart, making high technology work for the rich, very easy. Making low technology work for the poor, very easy. Making high technology work for the poor, that's tough. That's what India needs to do. And that's what you've done. So my heartiest congratulations. You know, our winners have often told us that this award is different from all others. And that is because this isn't a one-day relationship. We don't just recognize, hand over a cash prize and a trophy, applaud, take photos and stop. No, our work actually begins there. I'm very happy to see my very dear friend, as I introduced him as an iconic leader, Mukundan, as our chief guest. He's from Tata's, and therefore this will be music to your ears. You know, one of the winners was this eye breast. Eye breast is a kind of a, what shall I say, a portable ECG. In fact, I can pull it out from my drawer and show you what it is. This is eye breast. But a few years ago, Rahul Rastogi got this award. Okay. Now, when he got it, it was 6 lead. We said, no, it must be 12 lead. Then he said, it will take 48 lakhs to create that even prototype. I have exhausted all my money. And I remember, Mukundan, I went to Sir Dorab Tata Trust. They had invited me to talk about something. I showed to them. And I said, if you give 48 lakhs, you know, he can have a 12 lead. And within a month, that money came to him, basically. It was incredible. And this is the 12 lead one now. This has been fully certified all across the world. 250,000 of these devices have been sold in 8 countries. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that it was that soft money that was required. By the way, he could not have gone to venture capital companies because many of them behave like vulture capital companies. They want immediate profits. He could not have gone to a commercial bank. And therefore, I feel that for supporting such innovators, we require such soft funding. That is the first part. How do we do that? Yes, CSR is sort of just one. The second point I want to make while closing is also look at the other winner last year, Dozy, who came up with a fantastic innovation that you can slip that IoT with sensors below the bed, and 7 parameters with 98.4% will be monitored remotely. And that was the need of the hour. It is a stand-up ICU in 2 minutes. But look at what happened to his innovation. When he went to public hospitals, for example, either they did not have the budget, or they said, no, we have to have proper tendering. This was the only technology. What do you do with tendering? And people are losing their lives. They are dying in ambulances. So finally, what we did was go to corporate social responsibility. And they were the ones who got bait. In fact, Mukundan, it's very interesting. Alan Finkel, who is the chief scientist of Australia, he came to know about this and he donated $10,000. So we had to depend upon corporate social responsibility. I think this is not wrong. I think we have to change that. Why I'm making the case out of these two is that there is a lot to learn. So it is not just the private sector, the government, for example, it can become the largest customer for inclusive innovations like these, which can make a big difference through promotional public procurement policies, which are also progressive. We have done papers on this. It is talent, technology, and trust. So therefore, I personally believe that these are exemplars, so as to say, on what the nation needs to do. My final words, I would like to thank my own organization, Pune International Center. It is like thanking your mother or grandmother or father. But I want to do that because, again, the grace of Dr. Vijay Kelkar, he gave this award a national platform by making it a part of national conference for social innovation every year. We could not have sort of asked for something better. So thank you, Vijay. Thank you, PIC again. And again, my special thanks to all those who have worked behind the scenes to make this evening possible. The entire team, I'm very proud of. You saw Sushil Bode, who has provided the leadership, Shrikant Dev, Manmohan Singh, Chitra, all their amazing commitment and contributions. And finally, to the audience, I know for the first time we have audience from around the world. I do know how many friends of mine have joined from Australia, from Europe, and from Southeast Asia. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into inclusive innovation. Thank you for joining us and supporting our very humble contributions to the Indian inclusive innovation movement, which I hope, because many of these breakthroughs are applicable around the world, will become a global inclusive innovation movement. Thank you very much.